Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we'd do a 2-page Toontown scrapbook layout. The paper that I'm using for today is actually from the open stock section at Hobby Lobby. It does measure 11.5 by 11.5. For my next piece, it does measure 11.5 by 5 inches. And I believe this is also from the open stock section at Hobby Lobby. Next, I do have my border. It does measure 11.5 by 5/8, and I've used this plenty of times. This is just something I created. Now go ahead and back this on a piece of 12 by 12 craft cardstock paper. And for my next page, I actually already have it ready. For the files that I'm using for today, it's actually a combination of SVG's files from Marjorie Ann Designs and just Googled images that I brought down to my silhouette and trace. If anybody's interested on how I do that, I do have a video tutorial. For the SVG's files from Marjorie Ann Designs, I'll go ahead and leave the information on the description down below, just in case anybody's interested. For my first part, this comes with a group of other things from Marjorie Ann Designs. I'm going to use it kind of like a hill. It does measure 7.5 by 1 3/4. Also from Marjorie Ann Designs, I do have my tree. My tree measures 6.5 by 6 1/8. My next tree is a Googled image that I brought down to my silhouette and trace. This one, this tree measures 5 7/8 by 5 1/4, and on my silhouette, I did bring it close to the edge and cut it with my knife feature. Next, I do have 3 photo mats. My photo mats measure 3 3/4 by 4 1/4, and on my silhouette, I did do internal offset. Next, I do have my house. My house measures 5.5 by 9 inches. I did pop it up on one thickness of foam tape. Everything actually has been paper piece. But let me just say that this is my first time trying out to do this house. This house is not easy. I just assumed it would be easy, but it took me a really long time. I'm not exactly happy with how it came out. I wish it would have been a little bit better. But you know what, it's my first time and I've showed it to a lot of people, and until I mentioned where I made little mistakes, they actually didn't pay attention to them at first. So like I said, it was my first time doing this house. It's not as easy as I thought it would be. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it over here. I do have my path. I'll go ahead and bring it over here. It does measure 4 3/4 by 4 5/8. Next, I do have my fence. My fence measures 2 1/4 by 3 5/8. And all I did was duplicate one and flipped it. I do have my sun. My sun measures 2 1/4 by 2 1/2. I did pop it up between the layers. I do have 2 clouds. My clouds measure 1 1/8 by 2 3/4, and again I duplicated one and flipped it. Next, I do have my title. It does read Toontown. For this, I actually created this title. I typed in Toontown on my silhouette. I used my mini font that I got from dafont.com. That's DAFONT.com. And then just created an offset, and then I created an additional offset, and I did pop it up between the layers. For my next 2 pieces, these are actually from Marjorie Ann Designs. For my slide, it does measure 6 1/2 by 6 1/2. My swing set measures 4 by 5 7/8. And lastly, I do have my Mickey Mouse. He does measure 4 1/2 by 2 3/4. And this was a Googled image that I brought down to my silhouette and traced. I'm almost running out of my glue and I'm trying to finish it. And there you have it. This is my 2-page Toontown scrapbook layout. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.